Hi friends, I have a new fun fold to share, at least new to me. I really like this design because one, it's super easy to make. That's always got to be number one. But two, it allows you to see the focal point image throughout the entire card experience. So when you open this up, you can see the punchline to the joke on the inside, as well as seeing the, your focal point image. This is super easy to make. You could use any stamps you have for this. I use Technique Junkie stamps. These are perfect. I love this line, too old for Snapchat, too young for Life Alert. My grandmother has Life Alert and it's hilarious. She accidentally hits it. We were in church once, hit it, and we were talking, the whole church was talking to Life Alert during the service. So it was pretty awesome. So I want to show you how to make this. I want to also show you some tips because I messed up a few things when I first tried this. So let me share what I did with this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with our card base. Here are the measurements for the card. If you'd like to take a screenshot of this, I would put all of these on my blog so you can hop on over there if you'd rather just get them from there. So the first thing we're going to do is take our card base and score it. My scoreboard is huge, but hopefully you can see this. So we're going to score at 2 1/4 and at 6 1/2. Okay, and this gives us our card base. Super easy. Should use my bone folder. Just reinforcing those lines because I do want the card to lay flat, and it will. This one lays really flat. Just need to burnish your score lines first. All right. So the first thing I learned is that you want to do your background stamping first before you do anything else. I did a lot of this die cutting here first, and then I had to like mask everything off. It was not fun. So I have a really cool background stamp. It looks to me like wrinkles, so that's why I chose it. It's also from Technique Junkies. What I'm going to do is ink this up with Versamark. And a lot of people forget this, but Versamark is a watermark ink, which means that whatever paper you stamp on becomes a shade darker. So I don't have to hunt around my whole collection to find a blue that would be real light to match this. I can just use Versamark, and look, I have an ink that is one shade darker than the paper. So now I'm going to go ahead and re-ink this. And now I can do the bottom flap of the card. There we go. And I decided I'm going to leave the inside of my card blank this time. Last time I did stamp on the inside of my card, but it was mostly to cover up mistakes that I did. The second thing I did was I went through my stash, and this is the face of the old lady. Here's the stamp set that she comes in. And I did a little stamp surgery and I cut her off away from the sentiment. You could use this, but I really wanted to do this Snapchat one because I think I may send this card to my grandma. I went through my stash and I found a circle die that was the appropriate size for her. And then I grabbed the circle die that it was one size up from that. And those are the two that we're going to use to make this little window into for our card. The small one, I already die cut one. This is going to be our focal point for the card. So I'm going to take the one that's a step up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, I don't want to put it so close here because that's going to be a weak piece of, joint for the paper. So I want to make sure that I'm in far enough that I'm leaving enough that this is strong, but I'm going to use my score line, and I'm just going to eyeball this to make sure I'm kind of half on, half off. And I'm going to use a teensy little bit of tape So I can put half on this side and half on this side. And now I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. All right, so now we can pull this off. And notice I kept the tape in the center, so if it did leave any marks, it's on this piece here. And this piece now gets thrown into the trash. And we are done with our circle dies for now. And now we have this really cool card base, but we're not quite done yet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a 4" by 4" white piece of cardstock. This is where our sentiment's going to go, and it's also going to be what anchors our focal point. And we want to make sure that we're not putting glue in this little area here. So we're kind of just putting glue in the center here. And then we will put our white piece of cardstock down. Now, if you were really smart, you would have stamped this first. I forgot to do that, but that's okay. That's what they made Misty's for. Now, also with that bigger die, so I have my big die and my little die. With the big die, I went and found a piece of gray cardstock, and I already did this to save time. I die cut a piece of gray cardstock with my large circle die. Now I can take glue. I'm going to close this. And I can glue on my mat. And while we're here, we can also put glue on our little old lady. And we can glue her down. This card is so easy. And I know some people really dislike coloring, and she was super easy to color. Took like 5 minutes, not even. Took me longer to go get my markers than it did to color it. And while I'm here, I'm also going to put a line of glue here. This is optional. It has no real function. I just like that it defines the edge a little bit, makes it a little more interesting. It's that same gray cardstock. I just cut a real narrow, like, what is that? It's a 1/4 of an inch wide, long band, just because it kind of draws your eye to where this opens and closes. Okay, now the other piece we have is decorative paper. On my original, I used the sprinkles because I wanted it to be a birthday card. I wanted it to feel like a birthday card. But I kind of started thinking about it doesn't have to be a birthday card. So when I wanted to make my second version, I'm going to just use some texture. This is kind of like purplish, indigo-ish colored paper instead of the sprinkles. So now I can send this for any reason whatsoever. And that mats right onto there perfectly. So while we're here, let's get out the Misty. And I am going to very quickly stamp our sentiments onto this card. Okay, so now I have that stamped in there. Now, because I separated the first part of the sentiment from the second part, what I'm going to do is pull out a black pen. And I am going to add in 3 little dots so they know that the message continues on to the inside of the card. Okay, so on my original, I just left it as that, and we're going to say that was a done card. However, I thought this was really plain, and I thought it needed something to dress it up. So I went through my stash, and I found a butterfly. The butterfly is from Waffle Flower. And it cuts out a bunch of them, and I just put a little thin strip of black paper in the center just to give it a body, and I didn't do anything fancy with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some foam tape just on the bottom part of the wings of the butterfly. So we only put adhesive under the bottom part of the butterfly, so it leaves these up. So we can pull out this top part to expose the inside of the card or the punch line in your message. And then when you want to close it back up, you know, you have to kind of work them together, but as you close them, whoops, you can put the top part back down, and it serves as a closure for the card and also kind of dresses it up. Now I really like this, and just to put a little more bling, because this old lady looks like she'll bling it out. I'm debating about putting, what do you guys think? Should I put bling on the butterfly body? Kind of like that. Instead of doing the black, just cover the black up. Or should I scatter it all over the card? I'm kind of liking that. Well, that's option A. Yeah, I like that. I don't think it's going to look, yeah, I don't think it's going to look good scattered all over the card. So instead of using the black body I cut out of scrap, I like adding the bling through as the body of the butterfly. Isn't that cool? So there we go. What an easy little fun fold. I'm not 100% sure what the name of this is. I heard someone else calling it a fun flat fold, but then I Googled it and it turns out there are a bunch of different folds called fun flap, so that was not very helpful. But it doesn't really matter because here are the measurements and you can go ahead and take this on. These are awesome stamps. What a fun little, message to send and make someone smile. Which one of these you like better? I always love to know what you guys are thinking. I really hope you give this a try. If you do, send me some pictures because I love to see it. This is just so fun and easy. I love it. This might be my new favorite card style. I want to see what other stamps I can find to stick in the focal point. So anyway, give it a try and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a crafty day, guys. Bye.